The prescriptive approach in grammar. It's one thing to adopt grammatical categories like noun, verbs to describe English language and different categories of word in English sentences. But it would be another thing to say that the structure of English is also like the structure of Latin sentence, because they are two different languages. They can't be the same. However, this was the approach basically adopted by grammarians till mid-18th century. They would try to understand English language on the basis of the rules that were used in understanding Latin language. In Latin language, or till mid-18th century, the main focus of the grammarian was on word. When after the mid-18th century, the approach from word to sentence was made, and this thing brought about a very different approach among the grammarians. So, to think that there are something which is proper and there are something which is improper is not actually is correct with reference to English language. What is correct is what the native speaker thinks of their own language, what they think is appropriate or well-formed structures in their sentence, in their language. This view of grammar as a set of rules for the proper use of a language is still to be found today and may be best characterized as the prescriptive approach. However, this approach that what is proper and what is improper or not proper and what are good language etiquettes and what are not is still believed to exist, especially in prescriptive grammar, because this is the type of grammar which is used in schools, right? So the teachers in schools or the people concerned with education at school level think that it is very important to teach students that how they should write, what is proper and what is not. For example, still it is taught to the student that do not split an infinitive. Infinitive in English, infinitive is the basic form of a word or a verb in which we add to before the first form. For example, we have first form of the verb eat and we add to. So to eat become infinitive, right? Similarly, to play is infinitive. To go is infinitive. To run is infinitive. So you need to immediately see him. So this sentence you need to immediately see him, in which to see is split with adverb, will be considered incorrect or improper, right? So a teacher will always rectify the sentence as you need to see him immediately, or it may be you need immediately to see him. Do not end a sentence with a preposition. So if somebody uses a sentence like this, who did you go with? Because here we have the preposition with in the end of the sentence. So instantly this will be restructured as with whom did you go? In case of pronoun after comparative, should be nominative. For example, and Mary runs faster than me. So if you look at in this case, faster than me, this is very usual way of speaking in English, but the teacher will correct it as Mary runs faster than I. The reason given is that because I after me there is a verb. So before the verb there should be a subjective pronoun. Though here verb is employed, right? But they emphasize that we must bring the subjective pronoun. Similarly, if they find the sentence starting with a conjunction and, they would instantly change it, right? For example, me and my family is going to dine out, or me and my family are going to dine out. So this sentence would be instantly corrected, my family and I, because we need to bring an order of the of pronoun in a sentence. And similarly, we cannot start we start a sentence in which the subject has a objective pronoun. And in proper English writing, one should never begin a sentence with "and," as I just mentioned you. So we coming to infinitive. That is very interesting point to note here. To boldly go. It is infinitive and an example of split infinitive in English, in which adverb is coming between the infinitive of to and the form of verb go, right? So this is considered incorrect in English or improper in English, because the infinitive must not be split on the basis of the rules found in Latin language. But when we look at Latin, we find that Latin has one word for infinitive. It doesn't have two words as to go, to work. So you can see which is basically an infinitive in Latin language, cannot be split because it is one word. And so or dictor, so this is to go boldly. So this is a very different thing, that in original language Latin the rule is different, and the rule that is applied on English is said to come from Latin language, whereas this is not the case. It's a very interesting example. So English structures are different from those of Latin. So this thing must be kept in mind, that English is a different language, or any other language, maybe Urdu, maybe Persian, maybe Hindi, Sanskrit, or any other language. They are different language. They must be treated differently. It may be possible that they have some similarities in any of the structures, but they are different and they need to be treated differently.